Hey y'all, Father Jim Haney from St. Paul's in the Plains Episcopal Church, but I'm not at St. Paul's today. I'm outside of one of my favorite historical sites in our diocese, the old Boot Hill Cemetery of the ghost town of Tascosa, Texas. Founded in 1878, in the 1880s, Tascosa was a wild and woolly cow town. It rivaled Dodge City, Kansas as one of the great cowboy capitals of the plains. And yet in the 1890s it started to decline, and in the 20th century it turned into a ghost town until the property was bought up and converted into Boys Ranch in the 1930s. But in its heyday there were famous folks that trod the streets of Tascosa. You had people like Billy the Kid, Bat Masterson, Pat Garrett, who walked the streets here. Also in the 1880s, one of the most famous gunfights of that era took place, the old shootout at Jenkins Saloon. It was a very famous gunfight. In fact, 4 of the victims of that gunfight are buried right behind me. It was far more well known than a little obscure gunfight in a place called Tombstone, Arizona, the gunfight at OK Corral. That really wouldn't become well known until the 1930s and 1940s. If you ask folks in the 1880s what the big gunfight was, likely they would have said the gunfight at Jenkins Saloon, which some just called the Big Fight, a very famous gunfight. In that gunfight, there were some wild characters with wild nicknames. There was a Poker Tom, a Squirrel-Eyed Charlie, and my favorite, the Catfish Kid. Victim of the Catfish Kid is buried behind me. Sounds like a name out of Blazing Saddles. I'm the Catfish Kid. But real guy, real historical figure. In the 1890s, Tascosa started to decline, and a little known town about 40 miles southeast started to grow in importance and eventually supplanted Tascosa in this area. That little known town at the time was Amarillo, Texas, which is now a thriving metropolis, while Tascosa is no more. It's a good reminder to us. We have 27 folks buried behind me. We really don't know who they are. Unless you dig through some dusty history tomes. They're not well-known folks behind me. They died pretty much in obscurity, except for those 4 that died in the big gunfight. There's a historical marker right over my shoulder here. The inscription says, "Along with law-abiding and God-fearing men and women were buried here, often without benefit of clergy, men who died with their boots on." A very romantic description. And yet they do lie here in obscurity behind me for the most part. It's a reminder, next week is All Saints' Day. Next Wednesday, November 1st, is All Saints' Day. That's the day the Church remembers all the Christians who are not so famous, those who have died in the faith, those who have been examples to others, who may have been a little bit famous in their time, maybe locally famous, or maybe really not known at all, only known to God. And yet we set aside a day every year, All Saints' Day, to remember their example. And it's not a bad spiritual exercise to think about those folks in your life who have been important in your Christian walk, especially those who have died. There are a number of folks that I remember on All Saints' Day. I've preached sermons about that. Some of the lesser-known saints in my life that have been important to me in my development as a Christian. And so I would encourage you next week to remember those folks who may be obscure, may not be any better known than the folks lying here in the Tascosa Boot Hill, and yet who have been an example to you. Remember them on All Saints' Day. Give thanks to God for their good example, and give thanks to God that with them we are still all part of the Church of Jesus Christ. We are the church militant on earth. They are part of the church triumphant, and for that we can give thanks. As the old verse goes on the old hymn about the saints, they live not only in ages past, they're hundreds of thousands still. Give thanks for those saints who have died. Give thanks for the saints around you. Give thanks for all the good Christians, known and unknown, especially those who are unknown. Give thanks for them on All Saints. God bless. Have a great day.